It's been a long time. Stop. It's been a long time. Yeah, come on. Take this from me. Yeah. Hey, yo, it's my life, my time, my rights, my rhymes, my grind, my struggle, hustle, sweat in my blood too. I'm letting the smell fear. I smell a lot. My competitors fled scared. Cause they smelled I was hot. I want it all. Excess, the sex, much success, stress up. I want it all, no less. So come on.
What up? It's your boy T-Burn Reaction. Today's Wrestling Wednesday. And we're going to cap off Wrestling Reaction, because it depends on what time we get stuff out for Wrestling Wednesday. And we're going to check out some more from What Coaster and they 10 videos. And this is more 10 dumb things that quite genius. And this one is 10 dumb storylines. If I come up. Storyline we didn't want to admit was geniuses. There's been plenty of storylines at WWE that comes out pretty dumb, but it turns out to be pretty good and genius. So anyway, without further ado, let's check out some of them 10 dumb stories that comes out to be genius. Let's get it.
I am dumb and I like dumb things. I'm sorry. Wrestling is the same, although at times it does feel like they're not in control. I think it comes down to the fact there's so much content on TV. On occasion, promoters can't contain their inner madness. A broken clock is right twice a day, though, so I am Simon Miller, and here's 10 dumb WWE stories that turned out to be genius. Sort of. Number 10, R-Truth and the 24/7 title.
Facts. Yep. He made the 24/7 title. He made it his. It was like when Spike Dudley made the hardcore. You know, hardcore chain was pretty cool anyway. When Spike Dudley made his well with 24/7 hours, well too, they made it the genius. Made him great with that though. R-Truth did the same with this with the actual 24/7 title as well too. So anyway, let's check this out.
Remember this, no matter what you thought about the 24/7 title, it was going to happen regardless. You couldn't wish it out of existence, so thank goodness for R-Truth. He decided this championship would become his baby, and man, he hit home runs every single week when it came to goofy wrestling for life greatness. It wasn't like anyone was pretending this was serious content, and the wonderful ridiculousness actually broke up Raw, I thought. Do you remember that time Truth was on the beach and he was being chased? He still got away with the gold. It was just a nice reminder that anything can work, you give it 100%. And R-Truth, as far as I'm concerned, is a national treasure. But given I'm saying this from the UK, you can upgrade that to international. Number 9, Karma melts the Undertaker's powers.
Yeah, I remember that though. No cap. You knew it was a heel that chain was pretty tough. We know that too. No cap though.
95 was utter wackiness in the WWF. Even workers like Bret Hart and Jean-Pierre Lafitte were feuding over a jacket. And yes, you heard that, right?
In case you may not know this, that is PCO, the human Frankenstein himself. PCO back then he was Jean-Pierre Lafitte as well too. Yeah.
Clothes. It was just what Vince McMahon thought was good for business, and he was totally wrong. But a few of these stories were alright.
True.
Let's talk about Karma. If you don't know, this was Charles Wright, who would go on to play Papa Shango and The Godfather, whereas here he was sort of an MMA fighter. So really, we were ahead of the game. To try and win the mind games as he started a program with The Undertaker, though, Karma stole Paul Bearer's urn and he melted it. That's right. Manager Ted DiBiase justified this because he deduced that this was the source of Taker's powers, so let's just take it away. Karma was nuts too, so he used this melted gold to make a necklace that he wore around his neck.
And it's a good program as well too, you know them two, because he's part of the Bonesaw crew with Undertaker, so yeah, and they're real tight, so that was a little cool program to be on if you think about it as well too.
I'm telling you, this is pretty good. Of course, the WWF couldn't help it and sold it like the magic had now shifted hands, but hey, if I saw a movie, I'd expect that. This was actually
The storyline for the casting match was pretty cool too, because Kama was supposed to be spirit adult, so he would darn near like destroyed the coffin when they almost got closed up on him.
Thought out, especially for the time. It was way better than Undertaker versus Undertaker from the previous year. Although again, when you were a kid, that was the best thing ever.
It was.
Wrestling is stupid. Number 8, Edge gets kicked out to the Judgment Day. So this one needed...
only because I like the fact that Edge went back to the babyface wall too. And for the Hill fans, Judgment Day was something became enjoyable for them as well too. So yeah.
A little bit of hindsight, but that's okay. Sometimes a good story needs time to sell. It was weird at first because Edge had only just started the Judgment Day, recruited Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest when Finn Balor joined and the rest betrayed him. First, it felt like the whole thing had been rushed. We just had to be patient though, because soon Rhea went and corrupted Dominic Mysterio, who also turned on his dad, and it was obvious. They all had great chemistry, and also were getting more over thanks to the group. That's the whole point. We then did the same thing again when JD McDonough arrived, but that worked too. And really, the entire angle has been treated fantastically well. The Judgment Day are going to be remembered as one of the best stables of modern times, and it made 2 of the members world champions. Again, this is exactly the idea. I do believe this is great stuff. Number 7, Bray Wyatt possessed other wrestlers. WWE did not know what to do with The Fiend. They also didn't know what to do with the Eater of Worlds version of Bray Wyatt, although actually, I give them a pass.
Shame.
I think the man behind all this was just too creative for WWE.
Exactly.
He was something else.
Yeah.
One idea he did get through
Bray.
was that he could corrupt other wrestlers' brains, which is what we saw when he turned his attentions to Alexa Bliss. Now, I will be the first to say I thought the execution was a bit off, as Alexa hung around with a doll called Lily, and it was just a bit too B-horror movie. The thing is, the core concept was awesome. Wyatt was now possessing his enemies and making him their friends. That's good eating. The fact Bray played this like he didn't want to as well but couldn't control himself was the icing on the top.
Right.
And again, I just think he was too imaginative for the world he found himself in. That man was a damn hero. Number 6, Randy Orton uses IED as an excuse. I worry when WWE focuses on mentally related subjects. They can be very heavy-handed, as can wrestling in general. If something needs nuance, smash it over the head instead. So back in 2009, when Randy Orton started to say his violent behavior was due to IED, or intermittent explosive disorder, the worry was real. Actually, it worked out okay. This was when the Viper would pump people in the head because why not, and took it all the way as he wrecked Stephanie McMahon.
This one we're dealing with sick, sadistic heel Orton here, man, with the shortcut and the sleeves. Oh my god.
Triple H was handcuffed to the ropes. That's screwed up. Because Randy played all this straight, however, it actually made the whole character terrifying. He sold it with his facial expressions too, and commentary was disgusted. How dare Orton act this way and try and blame it on something else? So really this was quite deep, and we didn't actually poke fun at anything. So and if we did do it again.
And the fact he was like hella lean to made him even worse too, like, because that made him look really like a statistic with the lean. To be honest, him being as lean he was at the time made it even worse too, to be honest, because it's like he was definitely a serial killer.
Yeah, this is the template. It worked. Number 5, the custody of Dominic.
Now, only reason I feel the way I feel about this is how folks is using that against it and constantly just to be assholes or for just be assholes or whatever because they love them cause trouble. Keep saying that he's really Eddie's son. It's irking to the core, right? So as long as I keep keeping that up, we won't keep saying Cody's black. So how about that?
I mean, this one has become a classic. It's also totally unhinged. 2 wrestlers fighting in a ladder match for custody of a child. Forget about the legal ramifications. Why did anybody agree to this in the first place? It was pure sports entertainment, though, as Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio met at SummerSlam 2000.
It's just the way people run with it now, as of today, just cuz, man.
5 in a ladder match.
It's so annoying.
Because Eddie had kept telling people he was Dominic's real dad. Rey was just an imposter. Guerrero had a whole story too about the Mysterios coming to him to help them get pregnant. So for a while, we actually acted like this could be true. It was so preposterous. That was the genius, however, because not only did Eddie and Rey have a great fight, but over the years it's kind of become a niche cult classic. Ridiculous for sure, but there's an element of fun you just can't ignore. That rhymes, so it must be true. The fact Dom is now in the ring too has just made it even better. And even if you did hate it, there's a reason people smile when they talk about it today. It's a moment in time. A dumb one, that's all right. Dumb can be okay. Number 4, Rikishi wants The Rock to succeed. So this did not work. There's no point pretending otherwise. After...
Yeah, please. Yeah, just stop pretending it did work. Like, come on. He did it. They only did it because he wanted. It was like definitely one of the worst heel turns ever. Like, for what? For what? For what? For what? And thank God Rock didn't lean in on it and went with it as well too. He said, screw you for all this nonsense, and kept with me in face. I'm glad. Unlike we dealt with later on with the heel version of the Bloodline. But now they are the OGs and the babyface, so it's all forgiven. But still, I still ain't gonna forget it. It's forgiven, but I ain't gonna forget it. That 4 years of that dark cloud wrestling of mine. But yeah.
After Steve Austin was run over at the 1999 Survivor Series, though, we had a whodunit on our hands when we found the would-be killer was Rikishi.
I did it.
Oh,
for the
there was
Rock.
nothing wrong with sending Keech to the main event because that guy was super over.
Exactly.
But nobody wanted to see him as a heel.
Yeah.
Furthermore, his excuse sucked. He did it for The Rock.
Yes.
When The Rock arrived and said, no, you didn't, then it turned out Triple H was pulling the strings the whole time. It's just a mess. If we had just stuck to the basic story, this may have sparked something, because Rikishi's big point was WWE had 2 megastars, and yet the company kept going back to Stone Cold over the Great One. There was then some racist undertones which sort of knocked it off course again, but the idea that Austin and Rock were too big for one promotion was a good one, which just played out terribly. We even had the right plan because Rikishi was going to get his push on top of this. Let's just sum it up in a sentence. We dropped the ball for sure. Number 3, Vince McMahon's limousine explosion. Another...
Yeah, that was dumb. It sucks that a actual tragedy rescinded it though, and one of the worst tragedies of all time. But still, that was just random and dumb.
A story that was ridiculous. The hell we killing Mr. McMahon on wrestling TV?
Right.
Just don't go there to begin with. That is how I felt at the time, but sure, if we take all television drama as just that, you kill people off, especially soap operas, my gosh, nobody can survive even a season. In 2007, Vince McMahon did want to leave the show because he thought he was too old, and to stop anybody talking him back into it, he decided to blow himself up in a limo. Yeah, that'll do it. It was so well done, or people are so dumb, folk even rang up WWE HQ to make sure everything was okay. And of course, all of this was dropped due to the horrific Benoit family murders. That was the right move. The truth, however, is that if we had kept this up, it likely would have worked. Whodunits always draw people in, and this was somebody at the top of the card. Furthermore, whoever was chosen to be the guilty party could have made their career out of it. You need the machine behind you, but it's all there. It was still controversial, which I'm sure was intentional, but we have seen it work before. Although, actually, WWE would have screwed it up most probably. I mean, Exhibit A, the higher power, 2, Mr. McMahon's illegitimate son.
Yeah,
And it's
that was just ridiculous. Hold on a second. I bet, but yeah, I don't care. This was dumb. If it was genius, I don't know, but this was dumb. I guess the genius is that whole story did get over, but at the same time, it was dumb. In my opinion.
It's kind of the same for this story, too. Again, what we saw on TV sucked. It was all because Mr. Kennedy was meant to be in this spot, but when he ran afoul of seemingly everybody, he was let go. So that was the end of that, but the narrative had already started. Somebody needed to be the damn son. As always, McMahon decided as they were in a crisis, comedy would sort this out, so chose Hornswoggle, simply because a leprechaun being his offspring was funny. Sure. Yeah, why not? If we go back to the original idea, however, yeah, it's slightly over the top, but I assume Kennedy was going to use this to become the world champion, and then we'd all be raving about it. We made a new star. So it really is a sliding doors moment and something WWE could revisit if they wanted to. At the same time, please know, it will likely still go off the rails. Number 1, Goldust torments Booker T. Sometimes dumb is the intent.
Now, I enjoyed this. I don't care. This was cool. This was fun. I did enjoy this.
Dumb is the one. Let's go back to 2002. Goldust had decided that Booker T was the perfect new friend and tag team partner, so did everything he could to win him over. The skits between these two were ridiculous, but Dustin Rhodes was always up for anything, and Booker T understood wrestling entertainment better than anyone. That guy does not get his due.
I always say to this day, man, after watching the the A&E biography of him, how he said that when he came to WWE, he got to express himself a little more when wrestling, because when he was on WCW, man, most of the time he had to keep a serious character because of how he was more serious. But when he came Booker T in WWE, he let everything all out, has fun, and of course include the King Booker, even though he's a heel. As King Booker still was comedy gold.
Saw it grow as well, because at first Booker couldn't stand Goldust or this nonsense until his strong exterior was broken down, and it turned out he had a heart and a soft spot for his new buddy. That's just lovely. It also allowed the 5-time WCW champion to show off his range, which I bet put him in Vince McMahon's good books. And when they won the tag titles, my gosh, you would think Steve Austin had just walked out at WrestleMania 17. So it helped Booker progress in WWE and had a real charm to it, because it was real, sort of. Everybody has been won over by someone who was a little overbearing at first. It's just simple storytelling. Even if they would wear wigs and recite really weird poetry, I am going to call it good stuff. Know of any other dumb wrestling stories that actually turned out to be genius? Please leave us a comment below.
Cool. This was a cool one right here as well, too. So, other than that, definitely some interesting story that came with whether we like it or dislike it, though. Other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T signing off. One love.